Italy will rush 10,000 student doctors into service, scrapping their final exams, in an effort to help the struggling health service cope with the coronavirus onslaught. Some 2,158 people have died of the disease in Italy since the outbreak came to light on February 21.
Here's a summary of the article.
ROME, Italy will rush 10,000 student doctors into service, scrapping their final exams, in an effort to help the struggling health service cope with the coronavirus, which claimed another 345 lives. The crisis has pushed hospitals to breaking point at the epicenter of the contagion in northern Italy and left other regions scrambling to strengthen their own health systems as the number of infected rises nationwide. Advertisement. Lombardy is on the point of collapse. All the intensive care beds and respirators are being used, said Matteo Salvini, head of the League Party which governs the wealthy region. Intensive care crisis. Over 3 weeks, 1,135 people have needed intensive care in Lombardy, the northern region hardest hit. The region has only 800 intensive care beds, according to Giacomo Grasselli, head of the intensive care unit at Milan's Policlinico Hospital. Authorities have been working to set up hundreds of intensive care beds in a specially created facility in the Fiera Milano Exhibition Center, but are still waiting for sufficient respirators and qualified personnel. Advertisement. In Rome, oil major Eni has paid for the multi-million euro conversion of the small, private Columbus hospital into a center for treating coronavirus patients, with the first sufferers being stretchered into the unit on Monday.
This post received a score of 40,937, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This is the final exam.
The enemy's gate is down.
Dragon team, in formation.
Move, move, move.
Ender Wiggin isn't a killer, he just wins. Thoroughly.
Whenever he's pushed to react with violence, he always takes a running leap off of the slippery slope and defaults to murder. The bully from pre-battle school that he attacked? Kid's dead, yo. He's fascinating and Ender's Game is probably my single favorite book. That doesn't make Ender any less of a crazy person who has precisely 2 modes, ignore slights, and maximum carnage, total destruction, utter destruction. That shit ain't normal or in any way reasonable.
He was just a more stable version of Peter.
Ender was a killer, Peter was a murderer. Very distinct difference.
Peter never actually killed anyone, definitely a lot of psychopathic tendencies but still.
Didn't he also unite humanity or some shit? Been a few years since I've read the sequels.
Bless them. I can only imagine how stressful it must be to have your entire country locked down, to be at the end of something you've worked so hard for and to be thrown into trial by fire. I hope they succeed and save lives.
I suspect a lot of them will be pleased and rise to the occasion. People who go into public service tend to be like this. TBH, a lot of them were probably feeling impotent and annoyed to be stuck behind exams and not able to help. Best of luck to them.
My brother is a nursing student, set to graduate in May. Clinical are cancelled and as of yesterday the state won't waive that requirement. He is pissed because he feels like he could be out there helping ASAP, but the bureaucracy is in the way.
It's a very delicate balancing act. The headlines will either read "Nurses prevented from helping during pandemic due to burdensome regulations" or "Undertrained and unlicensed nurses rushed to service making situation worse." Best of luck to your brother.
Licensing is a formality, they will be licensed. Undertrained? If they are close to exams they lack experience, but not training. They had years of that. And this will provide plenty of experience. Not ideal, but when doctors are needed and there aren't enough, I'll take less experienced over none.
There's a reason there's an exam.
You can look up what the pass rates of the exams are. I just looked up the final RN exam pass rate in Ontario, and the first pass rate is around 80% and the second pass rate is around 50%. You can assume that people who pass the second time are inherently competent and just did a bad exam the first time. That means 90% of the class by the time they reach final exams should be competent. The damage that an actually incompetent nurse could do is bounded.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.